Hello and welcome to this demonstration of Intel AMT Commander and Outpost for 3PDS, third-party data storage. My name is Ilian Saint-Hilaire, and today we'll be using Intel AMT Commander and Intel AMT Outpost to show a little bit about how 3PDS works, but also to store WMI and pictures and the 3PDS data storage. So we're going to use Intel AMT Outpost and Intel AMT Commander for this demo. Normally those two tools run on different computers, but I'm going to use Commander here with some looping router. So I'm going to go, the traffic is going to go to the router and then back to the AMT machine on which I am right now. So Intel AMT Outpost is running on this 3.0 machine. Make sure it's logged in correctly and make sure you can connect correctly to this machine with Commander. So what we're going to focus on is a data storage folder here. Before you can do anything with 3PDS, third-party data storage, you have to add a new enterprise. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to add an enterprise. If you don't do that, you really can't do anything else with it. Now, once you have an enterprise here, I'm going to edit the applications list. I'm going to create a new application called sample vendor sample application. I'm going to give it, let's say 12, or let's suppose 15 blocks of 4K. Say add. That gives my sample application up to 60K of the third-party data storage to use. And I'm going to say close. Now that I'm done with that, I can go in Outpost. Once I'm connected here, go to the Storage tab, and you'll see here the storage. I can say Add New Login Application. Login as a enterprise vendor and application. We'll use disk with all zeros and a 1. Say OK. And here I'm now logged in and connected to 3PDS. I can say Allocate a new block. And in this case, I have pictures here. And these pictures are, about 18-20K each. So they're actually less than 20K each here. So I'm going to select 20K and call it picture and say OK. So now I've allocated a new block. And if you go in Commander and say refresh, you'll see that the picture block is now allocated. And you can right click on this data, say view as hex, and you're going to see all the F's because this block is all cleared with ones, 1 in decimal. So I'm going to go back to the storage, and on the local storage, say view block, and you're going to see the same thing. Now what I can do is I can right click and say view as image, and of course this is invalid image, all these F's. But I can grab the sunset picture, drag and drop it here, and it will be stored in 3PDS. Then I can go right there, say refresh, and now you're going to see all the picture, the JPEG information right here. I'm going to right click and say view as image, and you can see the picture. I can also grab another picture, drag and drop it. It will change it locally. I can remotely then refresh, and you can see this picture. I can also drag the picture into Commander, and this will update the picture remotely on the console, and then I can go locally and refresh the picture right here, and you can see there. So this is very useful. You can right click and say view as hex if you want hex. You can say view as UTF-8, of course, if this is normal text, or view as image if you're looking at a picture. Okay, so that's the first part of the demo, and it's very easy to show how 3PDS works like this. Now, a second part of the demo I'm going to show is how I'm going to go in the Storage tab, and here I don't even need to be connected, so I can just disconnect that if I want to. But I can go in the Storage tab, go in the Storage menu, Diagnostic Storage, this option, and here what happens is that Outpost will do a series of WMI queries, and these are done like SQL statements. So I have 4 SQL statements here, and these are done on WMI database. This is, by the way, the scope, and there's a pipe and then the request. If there's no scope, then it uses the default one. So it will basically what Outpost will do is do these 4 requests in a row, take the resulting data, serialize it to a binary format, compress it, and then push it into 3PDS under this identity. So I'm just going to say OK, and it's going to go ahead and push it into 3PDS. If I right click and say refresh, let's see, I'm going to refresh right here. Now you're going to see that there's 2 blocks that popped up, and I can click on the diagnostic block, right click and say view as hex, and now you can see all the hex data for the compressed diagnostic stuff. Also, what I can do is right click and say open in WMI viewer, and now I have this viewer that I can use to look at the diagnostic data. So for example, I have user accounts, user groups, system restore points, system environment variables, and I can also take a look at custom requests, and here you can see the 4 requests that were in Outpost are also right here, and I can say query and take a look at it. Now you'll notice here in the corner it says offline mode, and that's because this UI is just taking this data from the 3PDS block. It's also possible to do online mode, interactive mode over serial over LAN, or you can go in Outpost, do Windows management, and then you have a local mode here if you want to do queries interactively. So for example, I want to take a look at logical disks, say query, and you see C drive, D drive, E drive, and you see the queries here. And this gives you, you can type in your own query just manually, or you can pick from a list of queries that I've put in ahead of time, like user accounts here. I could just select that. It just shows you all the user accounts on this machine. Anyway, so that's a quick demonstration of how you can store WMI data into 3PDS and then right click and view it in the console side. This is kind of a rough kind of system, but you can see how it's pretty flexible here. Somebody could build an agent that just changes the queries on the fly. You can even, in the future, you could take these queries, store them in 3PDS, and this agent would load the queries in 3PDS, execute them, store the results back into 3PDS, and now you would have full control on the remote side. But this is just a kind of a quick demo of how this is all possible. So have a great day, and thank you for watching.